Before mankind was molded from earth, another ancient race already roamed existence, the Jinn. Born of a smokeless flame, they emerged from an essence older than humanity itself, invisible yet constantly surrounding us. They inhabited their own concealed dimension, a parallel world running beside ours, close enough to sense but forever unseen. They lived as we do, hunting, ruling, warring, and surviving. Sentient beings devoted to the same creator, who governs angels and humans alike. Yet unlike angels who obey without thought, the Jinn were gifted with something perilous: free will. They could bow or defy, create or devastate, follow or revolt. This freedom made them more like us than the angels, intertwining their tale with our own. Some yielded in faith, others rebelled, vanishing into deserts, ruins, and desolate lands. Some of them slipped quietly into human existence, whispering desires or weaving unseen connections. They had rulers, clans, and hierarchies of their own, reflecting the same order and chaos found among humankind. They were fierce, fast, and driven by passion and pride. From this ancient race came El, unlike any other of his kind. Exalted above the rest, he ascended to stand among the ranks of angels. Yet it must be remembered he was never one of them. He was Jinn. And for that reason, when the divine decree was issued, his choice carried weight. Eliss surpassed every Jinn before him. Among his people, he was remarkable, fasting, praying, and invoking the Creator with unwavering persistence until his name echoed beyond the fiery, unseen realm. Where others fell into indulgence, he remained steadfast. That loyalty lifted him to a realm no ordinary Jinn could ever reach. The angels, beings of pure light, served without hesitation, but El was invited into their assembly. There he worshipped beside them, his praises filling the celestial court. For a Jinn, it was a privilege almost beyond comprehension to be deemed worthy of such heights. Yet what made him exceptional also placed him in peril. Angels obey by design. Their faith never faltered, their obedience absolute. But Eliss, despite his devotion, carried what they never possessed: will. And within that will, pride found its seed. The higher he ascended, the deeper he believed his elevation proved superiority. He was fire, radiant, intense, lifted among beings of light. While angels served by nature's command, Eliss believed his place was earned. That belief birthed a quiet arrogance, a conviction that he was greater than his kind, greater than his rank, even greater than what was yet to be created. Pride doesn't roar. It whispers. It hides behind reverence, veiled by worship. Yet within Eliss, a silent flame of self-exaltation burned brighter each day. His ascension was genuine, but so too was the shadow growing behind it. Then came the decree. Adam, the first of mankind, stood before all, shaped from clay and infused with divine breath. For the angels, it was the first time they gazed upon a creature born of earth yet touched by heaven's spark. He was unlike any before him, molded by God's own hands, destined to carry a wisdom and purpose none could yet grasp. The celestial ranks assembled, radiant and endless, waiting for the divine word. And among them stood Eliss, shoulder to shoulder with angels, watching the man of clay rise. Flames still burned within his chest when the voice of God echoed through creation. The command was direct, absolute, and beyond challenge. Bow before Adam, the newly formed one. Instantly, movement rippled through the divine assembly. Countless angels descended in flawless harmony, their wings folding gracefully, their foreheads pressed to the radiant floor. Light bowed to dust and heaven honored clay, but one being stood motionless. Eliss remained upright, his stance firm, his fire glowing defiantly, eyes unblinking. He refused. He neither trembled nor yielded, he resisted. When silence returned, so did the question from above. What prevented you from obeying when I commanded? The answer came without hesitation, driven by conviction hardened in flame. I am superior to him. You formed me from fire while he was molded from clay, and there lay the essence of rebellion, pride. To Eliss, fire surpassed earth. Fire was alive, radiant, uncontainable, while clay was dull, heavy, and lifeless, useful only when shaped by another's hand. Flame soared skyward, while clay stayed tethered to the soil. Fire illuminated. Clay remained dim. To him, even the elements proclaimed his greatness. The call to bow was unbearable. How could one born of flame humble himself before one shaped from dust? Why should the superior lower itself to the inferior? In his mind, creation had been reversed. the new being should have knelt to him. But the command was never about rank. It was about obedience and understanding Adam's purpose in a plan beyond their knowing. To compare fire and clay was to misunderstand everything. Still, Eliss clung to his delusion. His pride twisted matter into status, and status into defiance. This marked the first moment a being placed itself above another, the first time praise was fractured by ego. Eliss weighed himself against Adam and claimed dominance. He reduced divine will to a contest of elements, exposing the arrogance buried within his worship. His logic seemed clear, yet it carried rebellion's eternal weight, flame against soil, self against decree. Judgment descended swiftly. Before the heavenly assembly, the glory that once surrounded El was removed. He was proclaimed cursed and cast out from the closeness he once shared with the divine. The gates that had opened for him were sealed shut. What he had earned through devotion was lost in a single pronouncement. Never again would he stand beside the angels. In that instant, identity became destiny. He was called Shaytan, the adversary, the one who turns away and leads others astray. The flame within him still burned, but its light had turned to shadow. Where his voice had once joined hymns of adoration, it now swelled in defiance, seeking to unravel what loyalty had built. El pleaded for a delay, a reprieve until the final day of reckoning. His plea was granted, not out of mercy, but because it served a purpose greater than his will. His fall marked the beginning of an endless conflict. With time given, he made an oath to surround humanity from all directions, to meet them upon the straight path and draw them away. His weapons would be whispers, temptations, and fear. He turned strength into traps and pain into gateways. His whispers reached both the arrogant and the broken, the wise and the simple, molding desire into bondage. Yet even in his oath, a boundary stood firm. He could not control will. He could summon but never compel. Those devoted in sincerity would remain beyond his grasp. His weapon was persuasion. His arena, the heart of humankind. His tools, the ancient twins of deception. Hope without faith and fear without refuge. Thus ended the rise of Eliss, banished but granted time, stripped of praise yet allowed to murmur in secret. He departed from the divine court, driven by a single intent, to test the children of clay until the final dawn. From that moment, Eliss ceased to be solitary. The one became a multitude. He stood as the ruler of a hidden horde. He was now master of the shaytan, spirits of his nature who followed him into revolt. Where Eliss was once singular, Shaytan became countless, the mind and command of a spreading swarm. His rebellion became the spark that ignited countless others. A flame passed from one will to innumerable voices. The shaytan emerged as the living echoes of his oath, bound to the vow made in the celestial court to deceive and corrupt the descendants of Adam until the world's end. They move unseen, gliding through the spaces between thought and desire, planting doubt, fueling arrogance, and stoking fury. Their whispers linger in silence, in the hidden chambers of the mind. They press against frailty until it fractures. What Eliss began, they expand, scattering his revolt into a million subtle urgings throughout time. Tradition claims their number cannot be counted. Each soul is said to walk with a shadow, one that tempts and whispers. They draw near when the mind is tired, when the heart aches, when the spirit falters. They offer ease where struggle stands, the cutting word, the secret sin. Their promises shimmer and fade when grasped. Though they cannot compel, they endlessly persuade, urging without command, shaping without force. The decision remains mortal, but the influence never rests. Eliss is often likened to Satan, yet their tales diverge in meaning and origin. In Christianity, Satan is known as Lucifer, the shining angel who rose in arrogance and was hurled into the flames for his pride. In Jewish writings, however, the Satan is not one being but a role. The accuser, the divine prosecutor, who tests the faithful and challenges them under divine authority. Eliss stands apart from both. He was never angelic but a Jinn, and his downfall was born from his own choice. The angels were compelled to obey. Eliss alone possessed freedom, and it was in that freedom he refused. Where Lucifer's defiance blazed in open revolt, Eliss's came in silent resistance, just as firm, just as final. Their fates also parted ways. To Christians, Satan reigns as the Lord of Hell, crowned in condemnation, ruler over the damned amid endless fire. In Islam, Eliss rules no infernal throne. Exiled from God's presence, His domain lies not below but among humankind. He walks beside us, whispering, seducing, deceiving. His task is corruption within the living world. Thus, when their names stand together, their portraits diverge. Lucifer, the fallen angel of flame and chains. Eliss, the Jinn who would not bow, whose rebellion lives unseen and multiplied through time. Shaytan, both adversaries, both rebellious yet born of separate tales and carrying their own distinct darkness. For many, the story of Eliss opens into questions far deeper than rebellion itself. Mystics, poets, and philosophers have long pondered his defiance, not merely as an act in the heavens, but as a reflection within the human soul. In Sufism, the mystical current of Islam, Eliss transforms from a tempter into a tragic devotee, an ascetic so enthralled by his love for the Creator that he refused to bow before another, even when commanded. In this vision, his rebellion was twisted devotion. Loyalty turned inward until it became self-destruction. Some call it pride disguised as purity. Others, purity corrupted by pride. Either way, Eliss stands as the eternal outcast, a warning of what becomes of faith when it forgets humility. Yet many saw an even subtler truth. Eliss mirrors the human ego itself. His defiant words, fire above clay, speak the language of arrogance, the illusion of superiority, the self-claiming dominion over others. He is that whisper within us that insists, "I am better," that weighs value by form and confuses it with essence. In this light, Eliss becomes the inner shadow, forever urging us to raise our will above the divine, our pride above surrender, our voice above the command, ego placed above humility. This is where philosophers found in Eliss the pure essence of rebellion itself. He became the first to refuse the original act of saying no. For some, that defiance marked the cost of freedom, evidence that free will was real. For others, it stood as a warning that the gift of choice always carries the threat of defiance. Either way, Eliss rose beyond legend, turning into a universal symbol of resistance woven into creation itself. His shadow stretches through belief, myth, and daily habit. Across the Islamic world, his name lingers as a quiet caution that temptation is never distant. Children grow up learning that sudden anger, reckless words, or fleeting envy may bear his touch. Ritual phrases are spoken before meals, journeys, or entering homes, forming shields against unseen intrusion. Everyday life folds around the awareness of Eliss's unseen reach. Folklore paints the rest. Some tales place the shaytan in abandoned ruins, in deserts without paths, or at crossroads where travelers lose their way. Others tell of them nesting within homes, whispering in arguments, nurturing jealousy, feeding doubt. The memory of Eliss survives as an explanation for the smallest fractures in human peace. Cracks in daily life still trace his name. Beyond old stories, Eliss remains a living emblem, the adversary who never rests. His tale warns that pride and ego are battles fought not only in heaven, but within every soul. He stands as a lesson etched in fire, the one who climbed through devotion yet fell through arrogance. The legend of this Jinn endures, pulsing through belief, ritual, and imagination alike. Wherever temptation stirs, his defiance echoes. All bowed but one, and that single refusal splintered creation itself. What began as silent disobedience still creeps onward like a fissure spreading through stone. It runs beneath centuries, across empires and alleys, through the unseen corridors of the heart. He lingers in breath and thought, in the longings we hide from ourselves. His vow did not fade, it multiplied. It bends close to every ear, whispering until the whisper becomes familiar, almost ours. The angels bowed once. Humanity still kneels daily, and yet he never bends.